when it comes to Star Wars toys, there was always some little pieces you might lose. So we're going to look at 10 things that's almost impossible to find today with the toy it came with. Let's take a look. Welcome back to the Junkman, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video. And of course, today we're going to look at things that are usually lost when it comes to the Kenner Star Wars toys, the vintage era that is. These are, if you're a collector, you want 100%, these are the ones that are kind of tough to find. You know, you might find it might be easy to find the vehicle, the playset, or whatever, but this one little part is just almost impossible to find with it. They're out there, but I asked you guys to help me out. I guess asked you guys on the social media apps to send me in what you always see out there, or we're looking to buy and it's always missing that part, or even as a kid you lost it a lot. And you guys sent them in, so we're going to do 10 of them right now. We're going to start with this one from Pat Buckles, a good friend of the channel. Pat Buckles writes in and says, the Blockade Runner. You remember the Star Destroyer from Kenner's diecast collection? Flip it over. There's a little place where you hold the ship. You know, it's been taken into... Yeah, I call it the Blockade Runner. Sorry. I don't believe in changing with the times. It's a Blockade Runner. That's what it was when I was a kid. That's why I still call it today. With the novel, I call it a Blockade Runner. Anyway, that's almost hard to find. You find the Star Destroyer, especially if you're out in the wild, chances are it's not going to have that little Blockade Runner. Man, it's about this big. It's probably got sucked up in a vacuum in some kid's house. So thank you, Pat, for that one right there. Next one comes from Mike Moffat, who writes in to say, this one's kind of bigger. The Sandcrawler remote control. Not really sure why the remote control is so hard to find, but it is. It is. And then we find the battery compartment is almost missing, so that's a whole nother one right there. But I guess this thing broke. It was known to break easy, so I guess once it broke, kids threw the remote away and just played with the vehicle itself. But it's hard to find that remote for the Sandcrawler. Bob Cobb sends in the next one, and he's talking about the Star Destroyer playset. What a crazy playset, right? Well, he says a lot of times it's missing the red hologram. Remember that it hangs down? It's supposed to be like the thing of the Emperor. It's supposed to be like, so you can put a figure behind it. It looks like... It's dumb. The whole playset, like, everything about this thing is dumb. Let's be honest. Everything about this is dumb, but it's often missing. It's often missing, even if it is kind of silly. If you want 100% complete, you're gonna want that right there. This next one comes from Mickey Abbott, who writes in about the Creature Adventure set. Yeah, Adventure set. Now, not the Cantina bar set, not the Creature Cantina. This is the one that's cardboard backdrop, and it comes with these little white pegs, you know, to help you stand the figures up with. But man, they're hard to find. Now, there's a couple other playsets like this. The Cloud City one, the early one, came with these little pegs, so I could put anyone on the list, but he wrote this one in, and it's hard to find. If you find this thing, chances are it's not going to have the foot pegs. If it does, it's going to be rare to have them all. They came shipped in a little bag. If you got them all, especially still in the bag, that's amazing right there. Ruthie Cohen writes this one in. The Droid Factory. She said you could write it, you could do the whole Droid Factory. So many small pieces for this thing, but the one that's missing the most are the little white pegs that holds everything together. Yeah, you're right. There's a bunch of these, and to find them all, that's, you might get a few of them, but to find them all, that's almost impossible. There are also some orange tubes that kids will cut when they're making their droids and stuff. And those are kind of hard to find too, because kids will cut them. So there's a lot of pieces of this thing. Find this thing 100%. It's hard to find 100% of this thing. Like I said, so many small pieces of this. So you can almost list anything from this set right here. That's the Droid Factory. Jack Klumpus writes in with the Dagger playset. Remember the Dagger playset? Well, it came with a lot of accessories. It came with these little boxes you can lift up. But it has this little round container. I don't know if you know this little gray round container. And you're like, what is this? Well, you put it up R2-D2's butt, or bottom, whatever one you want to call it, and then you put it on the little lever, and that makes him rise up like the Force is lifting him up. But you need that little thing in his hole. You got to put it in R2's hole. Can't believe I'm saying this, but you got to put in R2's hole for it to lift up. And a lot of people even forgot this thing was in the playset, much less if they get the playset they have it. But that's a good one right there. Gary Fogel writes in to say the Cloud City action figure walkie-talkie. Now, he comes with a gun, but he also came with this little walkie-talkie looking thing. I don't know, it's weird looking. I guess it's a walkie-talkie, but that thing get lost. That gun's easy to lose too, but this thing is so small, guarantee you probably lost it before you got home. Fell between the seat cushions in the car, you know, back where we used to put the seat belts. You know, we took the seat belts down between the seats so you couldn't get them out. We didn't want to wear seat belts back then. We were crazy. Yeah, that's probably where your little walkie-talkie thing went. I don't even remember them having a walkie-talkie in the movie. They're pilots. I don't even know why they have that. There's some kind of headset or something. Martin Van Nostrand writes in to say Snowspeeder, Harpoon Box, and the rope, and the harpoon itself. This is like 3-in-1 here. There's a little box goes on the back of the Snow Trooper, on the Snow Speeder, and on that is a string hooked to it, and the harpoon's hooked to it. The harpoon goes to the cannon. Now, chances are, that box I think is harder to find. You might find the harpoon, but once that string comes off that box, if you lose the box, you're going to lose the string. Then you're going to lose your harpoon. So those are pretty hard to find, the little thing on the back. They're really tough. Jake Jermel writes in to say the Death Star playset's rope. Most people don't even know it came with a rope. So many people lost this from day one. Yeah. You know, it's a rope swing. So you go across. We call it a light bridge. Was it called a light bridge? Or is that something we made up? I don't know if it says light bridge on the box or something. We always call that bridge. It goes back and forth. Me and my brother called it the light bridge. I'm not really sure why. Do you know why? Not really sure. We just call it a light bridge. Maybe it's still on the box. But yeah, that's often missing. And number one that's always missing comes from our good friend Lloyd Braun, who writes in to talk about the Millennium Falcon ship playset. And it's missing the Jedi training ball. Now, I think they call it today Jedi training ball. It was just a training ball. I mean, I don't know how this thing came to be something of a Jedi. Maybe it's not. But, you know, it's not. I don't think Obi-Wan brought it with him. He didn't pack or anything. I don't remember him walking around most likely with a ball in his pocket, but maybe he did. I think it was more something Han had to shoot at, but I could be wrong. But this thing is often missing. The ball, the string, and the little arm that sit on the Falcon. Missing a lot. That one's hard to find in a Falcon. Whew. It's rough. I think those last two are probably the hardest when it comes to toy stuff to find. Those last two are pretty hard to find right there. I think that's it. I want to thank all the guys that wrote in to tell me about what they think is missing off these ships and figures and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments below. Maybe something I missed. Maybe you're like, oh, every time I find it, I can never find it. It's so hard to find that piece. So if something else I forgot, let me know in the comments below. And as always, Thomas, you like my content, subscribe to the channel. Talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.